You said or two line segments where they intersect. Okay, what do you think is another description of an angle? I like those two. Is a point an angle or is a point a location? So show me an angle with your hands. Okay, 90 degrees, like that. Awesome. Like this. Now, what if it is less than 90? What does it look like? A baby one. And it's a cute, right? Because it's a cute little angle. What if it's more than 90? It's obtuse. Look at you guys go. I'm so proud. All right, so can you guys tell me what a ray is? It is a drop of golden sun. Take a point. I love it.
It has an endpoint and a line.
And it goes on forever, right? Yes. Take a point. All right. So a ray. We're going to define it, and then we're going to draw one. So a ray is part of a line. So this really is recall. This is a level 1. But we're going to pretend that we're bumping it up to level 2. How about that? We're going to challenge ourselves. Part of a line with one endpoint. And extends infinitely in one direction. A drop of golden sun. I love it so much. Alright, so let's draw an example. Do I need a point?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do we want our ray to go to the left or to the right? Ah, Blair. Pretend like you know how to draw a line. Right. But what I could have done is I could have picked up my straight edge and made a straight line, right? And not this curvy line that looks like chaos. So get out a ruler or a compass, something so you have a straight edge, y'all. And let me fix this so it's not, there's no fixing it. Just pretend. Just pretend that's beautiful. Now, since it's a point, should we name it with a letter? Capital letter or lowercase? Capital. I'm going to call it Z because I don't think Z gets enough love. Should we put another point on there? It could have more. It has one end point. Now, is this other one an end point? Or is it just a point on the ray? Look at us go. Now, what do you think opposite rays are? That's our next word, opposite rays. So, now, yes, but I have a question. If I drew an opposite ray from this one, could I go straight up, or does it need to go in the opposite direction? Opposite direction. If it goes straight up, it makes an angle. So opposite rays go in opposite direction. So if I go to the left, what's the other way I have to go? Right. To the right. Okay, so the definition is two rays that share an endpoint and create a line. Now, if they're on the same line, what word did we learn last week that's called? Collinear. Take a point. They are collinear. Now, to name this ray, you could call it ZY and put an endpoint on the end of it. Now, let's draw opposite rays. Put a point. Yes.
Isn't that what's been influence spacing?
No. That's a good question. No. Alright, call this B. And this is my one ray. So what does my opposite ray need to do?
Point the other way.
Go to the left. Yay. That's it. Yes.
When you do that, does that technically make the midpoint?
It can. That's a great question. Take a point. So the midpoint is when it's in the middle, right? If I specifically put this and say that AB is equal to BC, then yes. But what if I just put C right here? Then it's not the midpoint, it's just their meeting point. Does that make sense? Okay, good question. Yes.
Would opposite rays connected like that want to be on?
Yes. That's why it says we create a line. That's okay. Did you have a question, Drake?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay, what's your question?
How do we tell the difference between opposite rays and a line?
Opposite rays make a line, so they're the same thing.
Oh.
We just call them opposite rays because we're fancy. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now let's look at an angle. What do you think is an angle? Is it one ray or two rays? Are they collinear or non-collinear? Boom, that's the definition. Take a point. Everybody gets a point. Yeah, two non-collinear rays. Everybody gets a point for answering. Two non-collinear rays. Hey, remember, if you get more than 5, this is how you should write it, as plus 6, plus 7, plus 8, plus 9. That's how many points I got last period because I'm awesome and they wouldn't answer me.
I didn't know what you mean. Wait, so you get points?
Yes, if you don't answer me and we literally have to sit here in silence, then yes, I get points for answering all the questions. Pardon? You don't understand why I get points? Because I'm the real OG.
Yeah, what do you get for
Yeah, pretty much. Alright, now I want to draw an angle. Now, do the two rays share an endpoint?
Yes.
Okay, so let's put a point. And let's call it point... Oh, okay, I'm not real sure what we said, so I'm going to put C. Okay, I'm going to put C because I'm not... Y'all kind of scared me. I appreciate the participation, though. Okay, now I'm going to draw a ray this way. And I'm going to call this point A. So that's ray CA. Now, for an angle, do I need to make one to the left, or does it need to go
You need to go up or down.
up or down in some kind of diagonal, right?
You don't have to have that.
Good job, Jarvis.
We're going to talk about that. Now, Justin asked a question as to whether we have to have that other point on there, and that's a great question. The reason I want you to have 3 points is because what if I drew this line right here?
So do you want us to draw?
I would like you to get a marker and draw that line. Put it in a different color or colored pencil. Now, Justin, if we drew that line, right? We drew that ray. How many angle C's do we have?
2, 3.
3, right? We have one here, we have one here, and then we have the whole thing. So how many points do we need to name that angle?
3.
3. We have angle ACB. What's it? Yes. It's over there. They all got destroyed last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, chaos usually happens. Okay, so name this angle for me. I named angle ACB. What's another angle that we can name? Grant? Alright, take a point. What's another one that we can name? ACB.
B.
D is in dog?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Wait, yes.
We can have ACB. Picture right there. So you need 3 points to name an angle. I would maybe make a side note that says that. 3 points to name an angle. Now, the next very important part is the vertex. What do you think of vertex of the C? Yes. Why is it C?
Because that's all of the points.
Yes. The common endpoint. Take a point, children. Could we say that where two non-collinear rays meet? So that's a lot to write in there, right? So just know it's where two non-collinear rays meet.
Alright.
All right, what about sides? What are sides?
Like on the side.
It is hard to explain, isn't it?
Like the side of the angle.
The side of the angle. So what would one side of this angle be, of ACB? What would one side be? AC, yes. What would the other side be?
BC.
Okay, so sides are the rays that create an angle. Pardon? Yes. Yes. I do. But you know what my favorite class is? 5th period.
Oh, really?
It's my planning period.
Yeah,
I took a here last week at my quiz and your door was locked and I was at home.
Because I had.
So you see.
Yes. All right, now the next word I want to talk about is the degree. What do you think the degree is?
The measure of the angle.
Look at you go. Take a point. The degree is the measure of an angle. Measure of an angle. Now, in your handy dandy tower, you have a protractor. That is how you find the measure of an angle. You use your protractor. Do you see this dot in the middle of most of them? You put that dot on your end point. And then you see, like you line up your bottom ray. And then you see where this top ray extends. So I could put this paper on it. And that is at 40 degrees. So is that an acute, obtuse, or right angle? Acute, because it's less than? Take a point. Now we're going to define. We're going remix. We are going to define. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I get excited and start moving fast. So you put the dot on the end point and you line up this bottom straight edge with your bottom ray. And then you can take your pencil and extend your top ray if you want, or use like a piece of paper, whichever makes you happy. Put it on that ray and see where it crosses the inside degree. Now the reason we use the inside is because the outside is the obtuse angles and we don't need those. So this is mine's at 40. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Are we together? Are we alive?
Oh, wait, we're supposed to do it at the top. At the what point B is?
Yes, or you could do it all the way up. That one would be 90.
I was talking about the protractor.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I got excited. You go to that degree right there, all the way up. Because otherwise you don't know where it's at, right?
Okay.
So I would like you to please write what the measure of your degree is inside.
Right inside what?
Write it inside the angle.
Oh, like circle and 55. Well, 55 and circle.
55, then the circle. All right, so if we know, just for instance, if we know that ACD is 90 and ACB is 40, what does BCD have to be?
Oh, 90? I mean, what's that? 50?
If the whole thing is 90 and this part's 40, what does this have to be?
45.
50.
You sound so confident.
You do. You're so enthusiastic. I love it. So if this one is 40, the whole thing is
I
90.
thought they said 90. I can't see it. I was thinking like, because like both
I'm sorry.
both of you do like 180.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to define interior and exterior, and then we're going to draw some examples on 5B. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more words to define after interior and exterior. So we're going to draw some examples, and it's going to be lots of fun. Are you ready?
Whatever happened to us making that pocket? What pocket? Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't let me forget to do that. We'll do it at the end. We're going to have time, so we'll make it at the end, and we'll put it in the back.
What are these desktop reports?
I'm sorry?
What are these desktop
Your
reports?
mom.
You sticky notes?
We talked about that this morning. I said your mom. Alright, interior. What is interior? What do you think that means?
Inside.
Alright, so it's points inside an angle. So what would exterior be?
Points outside of an angle.
Oh my gosh. Take a point, guys. So I would like you to please draw for me an acute angle over here. No. Draw me an acute angle in the exterior and an obtuse angle in the interior. Draw an acute in the exterior and an obtuse in the interior. And obtuse is more than 90.
It can be 180.
Now, interior says points inside an angle. So where should I draw a point on here?
On the outside. Inside. Inside.
Interior is inside. So I'm going to put a point here, P, and I'm going to put a point here, T, E, F. Those are points inside the angle. Those are called interior points. That is all it means. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Whoa. Sorry.
C. Oh, I tried to C.
Alright, so for exterior, where should my points be? Outside the angle. So could I put a point right here?
No.
Right here?
No.
Right here? What about here?
Yes.
Let's call this S. What about up here?
Yes.
Let's call that T. And boom, we're done with interior and exterior. That's it.
Yay.
Isn't it crazy? Thank you. I'll be here all week. Alright, ready? Are we ready?
Yeah.
No? ¿Por qué no? Why no?
Hello. I'm not together.
Do you like a Spanish club when you were younger, or?
She's not good on that.
Oh.
She likes to show off. She usually shares with us, right? Or at least she'll share it with her.
It's games. So it's games. So just take your turn.
Alright, 5B. Title it More Vocab, y'all.
Or both have y'all. Gotta have that other.
Yeah.
Bless you. Oh. Bless you.
Y'all. Oh, whoop. I say I hate kids, but like, oh, I hate to do that myself. I'm like, yeah, I don't mind that. I don't enjoy it.
I'm fine. Alright, so the first word that we're going to define is acute angle. So we're going to define it and draw an example. What is an acute angle?
Angle under 90 degrees.
Yes. Angle less than 90 degrees. And then use your straight edge and draw me an example.
Wait, do we go under or on the side?
Whatever makes your soul happy.
My soul not happy.
I have days with one of them.
She gets mine back. She says she's trusted.
How many points do we need to name an angle?
3.
Oh my gosh, I hate strong things like that. You like put an angle or something over the word.
I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Crazy person. Alright, the next one is obtuse angle.
She thinks water is
What is an obtuse angle?
angle more than 90 degrees.
More than, but less than?
180.
Okay.
Wait, why is it less than 180?
Because 180 is a line. Angle
180 be both?
more than 90, but less than 180. And then draw me an example of an obtuse angle. Blessings.
Gesundheit.
Okay, I told you earlier that if you said it again, you lost a point. So that's a -2 on your number strip. No, you keep saying it, and I told you to stop. No, stop.
I was just talking about
No, -2.
Oh, boy.
You better be happy we have 9 points or now 7.
How can I help you?
I'm sleeping. I'm just gonna get paper towel.
Okay.
Gosh darn it.
All right, the next one that, oh, I need to draw an example, don't I?
See this?
Same Twitter, baby. Think about it.
Can you push that?
Ooh, that was kind of quick.
Oh, yeah, both got my push up though. Ooh.
Yep. They'll do them at the end.
Oh, that's a straight line. You can take a point.
You can.
I can't.
I have faith. Now, is this an obtuse angle?
Yes.
Did I draw it correctly?
Yes.
Can we move on to right angle?
Yeah.
Look at us go. What is a right angle?
Exactly 90 degrees.
Exactly 90 degrees. Super proud.
Not left angle.
I got left hand.
Oh, Blair, you didn't write it in orange. Poop.
I'll buy you a soccer shirt.
Congratulations.
I don't even know your favorite team.
It's less than short.
4 times. A little bit. You want more money? Where is your money? I guess in your wallet.
With you?
Alright, so we have 2 more words that we are going to define, and then we're going to start copying some things down. Isn't it exciting?
Yay.
I love the excitement, children. Love it.
Woo! Party.
If I gave you the word congruent angles, what would that be? Have the same
Measurement. Degree.
degree. Take a point.
Wait.
So congruent angles
Right in on.
angles that have the same degree. So what's the degree of an angle again?
90.
It depends on the angle.
Depends on
But how do you find it?
It's the
using
measure.
your protractor.
So you use your protractor. Yes, that's what I wanted. What time do we get out of here? 58? Oh, poop, we got 3 minutes. We can do this. And the last one that we're going to define is angle bisector. What do you think an angle bisector is?
Split an angle in half.
It cuts an angle in half. Now, would an angle bisector be a ray? Yes, it is a ray that cuts an angle in half. Now, for homework tonight, I want you to draw me 2 congruent angles. And an angle bisector. 2 congruent angles and an angle bisector for homework tonight.
Why did you not do it?
Tomorrow we're going to be doing construction, so you need to be ready. Oh, let's change that. 4 congruent angles. I want a pair of acute and a pair of obtuse, and then an angle bisector. So how many total angles will you have? 2 pairs of congruent angles. 1 acute, 1 obtuse. Make yourself a note to do that.
Gosh, look at you. You're so hazardous with your scissors now.
All right, now what should we do with our towers? Clean up your tables.